Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at July 2023 individual forecast for each life path number. Before we get into that, though, I do want to announce that I have a new service available on my website. It's called the Diamond Forecast. And just to kind of give you a quick overview of what this is, I'm actually very excited to be able to offer this. The diamond is considered to be one of the most powerful and beneficial tools in numerology, and it's the absolute perfect companion to the year ahead forecast, which I know many of you are very familiar with. So the diamond forecast takes a deep dive into the very specific numerology transits that you're meant to be moving through at any given age. So unless instructed otherwise at the time of booking, then I would be looking specifically at your current age through the course of a year, birthday to birthday. Now, this report breaks down basically your cosmic challenge or divine quest, guiding you on your higher spiritual path throughout that year. So we'll look at, again, the cosmic challenge, the root or the predominant catalyst that will likely create a particular chain of events or create some kind of cause and effect within that year. We also look at the action key, which is how you're meant to respond to and work with that energy for the best results. And then finally, we would look at the higher and the lower vibrational potential outcome or probable results of that year-long quest. Okay, so just to kind of give you an idea, I ran my own report for my current age, and as usual, it is fascinating how incredibly accurate and on point it has been so far. So you can find an example of that report, page for page, on my website under the Diamond Forecast. And you can purchase it there if you choose to. Again, I highly recommend this report. And I also, of course, recommend the personal year ahead forecast and getting them together for the most in-depth insight. You can also purchase both if that's something you want to do at a discounted rate. And again, you can find that on my website. The link is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at each individual life path for July 2023. Life path number 8. So I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all for July, and you got Black Swan. So there's definitely something here, and I can also see that in the numerology for you this month, which I'll talk about in a moment. But there's definitely something here for 8s about taking a deep dive into sort of the underbelly of your emotions, of maybe some things that you've been moving through that have to do with your career or your purpose or whatever the case may be. But there's something here that maybe you've been trying to avoid or haven't wanted to deal with or have just been trying to push through, that you're going to be asked potentially this month to pause and really dig in, like really go in deep and face it head on. You know, if it's shadow work, then sitting there with your shadows, you know, whether it's going to therapy and moving through those shadows with someone who's unbiased and who can assist you with that, or if it's through meditation or art therapy or reading or journaling, whatever speaks to you, or going out into nature and again, whatever speaks to you and feels healthy and right for you. This could be a month where sort of you feel like you're hitting roadblocks, but those roadblocks are trying to hit the pause button for you to deal with things that need to be dealt with that you're avoiding dealing with, right? Again, this isn't going to be for everyone, but this is just what's coming in with with Black Swan. There's something here that is kind of like a dark cloud that's been hanging over you that you know is there. It's like the elephant in the room, right? It's like you know it's there. You need to deal with it, but you haven't been. And so this month you might find that until you deal with it, or until you initiate that process of dealing with it and transmuting it, you're just going to keep getting sort of hitting roadblocks, right? It's kind of like the universe is saying you can't move forward in the way that you need to be moving forward until you deal with this baggage, this whatever it is. And it can stem from yesterday, or it can stem from, childhood, whatever the case may be. There's definitely something here that needs to be dealt with. And I think you'll find that the universe continues to slow you down until, and sort of redirecting you to what this is. And you'll kind of find that you keep attracting people who trigger it within you so that you can deal with it. So that's very possible this month. Now, again, it's a short cycle. It's only a month long, but a lot can happen in a month. So pay attention to where it is that you keep hitting a roadblock and what it keeps making you focus on or bringing your attention to. Or if there's someone who continues to trigger something within you, instead of kind of just talking yourself out of it or moving through it or avoiding it, really sit down with it and face it. Or again, like seek professional help to help you to do that. Sometimes these things are so heavy, especially if they stem from, trauma from childhood, that we're not necessarily meant to deal with it on our own, right? So keep that in mind. Now, for the month of July, you are working with 13-4 energy. And it's interesting because 8s kind of get this energy quite a bit, or I've noticed over the last 6 months to a year, I've seen this energy come through for you all. So for 13-4 energy, the 13 is where my focus is going, because a lot of times with 13 energy, in tarot, that is the death card, death, transformation, rebirth, major transformation, something crumbling so that something better can be rebuilt. But in order to do that, the focus has to be put on what needs to crumble. So I do find it interesting that you have Black Swan coming in along with this 13 energy, which is saying something needs to be transformed. Now, what I will say about 13 energy is that it's very similar to like Pluto energy in astrology, where it's wanting to bring about some kind of spiritual evolution, some kind of spiritual awakening in a sense. And through that awakening or through that evolution, it helps you to step into the higher octave of yourself, right? And to realize things about yourself that maybe you wouldn't have realized if you hadn't moved through whatever it is that you're moving through. So it doesn't have to be like this incredibly challenging, dark night of the soul type of energy. Sometimes it can be, but there's usually something that needs to be transformed when you move through this cycle. You'll know what it is because it'll be whatever it is that you're being faced with, or whatever it is that you're being asked to move through. So what I would say to that is, dive in and do the work and, get the assistance that you need to be able to do that, because it's through that process that you create the space, or a more aligned space to be able to move forward in your powerhouse 8 energy, right? And to satisfy that energy, right? Which is big and powerful in itself. With 4 energy this month, going through a cycle, you could see things come up around the physical body. So if there's things with your health that need your attention, this is the month to make sure that you do that. Get it checked out. You could see things, especially if it's anything chronic. So anything that you've been dealing with that maybe has been lingering, this is a great month to get it checked out, get it taken care of. Same thing if there's anything with your house, like the actual physical structure of your home. This could be a month where you see things come up around that need your attention. Or if there's something that you've been putting off with your home, this is the month to take care of it. If you don't, you could see it progressively get worse until you deal with it. 4 energy is going to force us to pause, check in, and fix what needs fixing. So again, I'm not surprised that Black Swan is coming in with this energy, because there's something with the foundation, whether it's your, body, mind, spirit, or your actual physical home, that needs your attention, that there's some cracks in the foundation and you need to fix the cracks, right? And so it's not always the most glamorous work, but it's the work that needs to be done so that whatever you build on that foundation stands the test of time, right? Is structurally sound. So you could see some things come in around that. This could also be a month where you really need to focus on following your intuition, right? Following your heart center. If it doesn't feel right for you, then don't do it, right? Even if you're feeling sort of pressured to do it. Follow your intuition, follow your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. wait till it feels right, and it may never feel right. So that's okay. But this is not a month for doing things that other people want you to do if you don't want to do them. Okay. Same thing with like business, especially as an 8, right? Same thing when it comes to business, career, jobs. If there's something that's not sitting right with you, this is the month to really dive in, get to the bottom of it, look at the finer details and fix it, right? Address it in some way. It can feel like a slower moving month, but it's just making you sort of focus on the details so that you're not overlooking the details or trying to bypass something to get to the finish line, because you're just going to have to come back and do it again. So I do feel like this could be a very transformative month for you all, or at least the initiation of that. But definitely, pay attention to it. Don't try to override it. Sit with whatever you need to sit with and work through it, because you'll find that things move much more smoothly once you deal with whatever this is that you're meant to deal with. Okay. So I know that sounds a little heavy. It doesn't have to be. And again, it's more of a specific reading for those that this actually, resonates with. But I do think it's important. So I'm just here to tell you what I see. So I hope that regardless, it's a beautiful month for you all, transformative, and brings you the results that you need. Take care, 8s. Bye for now.